On a freezing winter evening, Charles Whitman, a reclusive millionaire known for his sharp business mind and cold demeanor, heard a faint knock on his mansion door. When he opened it, a young woman stood there, shivering under the dim porch light. Her clothes were worn, her eyes tired, but there was a quiet dignity in her trembling voice as she said, "Sir, can I clean your house for a plate of food?" Charles stared at her, momentarily frozen. Something about her face tugged at a distant memory, but he brushed it off. "What did you say?" he asked, almost harshly. She swallowed hard. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I can scrub floors, wash dishes, anything. Just one plate of food." Something cracked inside him. He was used to people asking for money, favors, deals, but never for food in exchange for work. Against every instinct, he stepped aside. "Come in." The woman hesitated, glancing at the opulent interior, as if stepping on the marble floor would break some unspoken rule. Charles led her to the kitchen, plated a warm meal, and placed it before her. She stared at the food as if it were gold. Her hands shook when she picked up the fork. For a moment, Charles just watched, an ache forming in his chest. He finally spoke. "What's your name?" "Lena," she said between bites. "I used to clean houses before my mom got sick. I lost everything trying to pay for her treatment." After she passed, her voice cracked, but she continued. "I didn't know where else to go. I remembered this street had big houses. I thought maybe someone would let me work for food." Charles's breath caught. Lena, it hit him like a bolt of lightning. 10 years ago, he was just a struggling college kid. One stormy night, he'd been stranded on the road, hungry and broke. A small diner had taken him in. A young waitress, kind eyes, tired smile, had given him a free meal and said, "When you make it big, just help someone else. That's all the payment I need." Her name had been Lena. His voice was barely a whisper. Did you work at Miller's Diner 10 years ago?" She froze, fork midair. "How do you know that?" Charles laughed, but it was broken, full of emotion. "You fed me when I had nothing. You saved me. And now you're here." Tears filled her eyes as the weight of recognition sank in. That night, Charles didn't let Lena clean a single thing. Instead, he gave her a guest room, a warm bed, and the promise of a job managing his household staff. Within weeks, he set up a trust fund for her, ensuring she'd never struggle again. But more than money, what changed was Charles himself. That night reminded him that kindness is a circle, it always comes back, often when you least expect it. Months later, as Lena stood in her new home, safe and smiling, she whispered the same words she'd told him years ago. "When you make it big, just help someone else." And Charles did, because sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change to lives forever. Lena couldn't stop staring at the man who had once been a stranger in a rain-soaked diner. Back then, he was thin, tired, with eyes that held both hope and defeat. She had almost forgotten his face, but the way he said her name unlocked a memory she never knew she carried. Charles poured her another cup of hot tea, his hands trembling slightly. "Do you have any idea?" he said softly. "That one plate of food saved me. I was ready to give up that night. You didn't just feed me, you gave me a reason to keep going." Her lips trembled into a weak smile. "I never thought I'd see you again." "You were the first person to show me kindness when I had nothing," he replied. "Now it's my turn." For the first time in years, Lena felt warmth not just in her stomach from the food, but in her heart. She had knocked on his door, expecting a meal and a quick escape. Instead, she found a piece of her past waiting to give her a future. Charles didn't just offer her shelter for the night, he insisted she stay until she could get back on her feet. But as days turned into weeks, it became clear to both of them that this wasn't just charity. It was fate putting a broken circle back together. He hired her to manage his estate, but what he truly gave her was dignity. And Lena gave him something money never could: remembrance of humanity. The reminder that success meant nothing without compassion. One snowy evening, months later, Lena stood at the same door where she had once knocked, watching Charles laugh with a group of kids they were sponsoring from the local shelter. She wiped a tear, whispering under her breath, "It really does come back." Charles looked up, catching her gaze, and smiled. "It always does." And in that moment, two people who had once been lost realized they had saved each other, not with riches, but with a single plate of food and a heart willing to care.